Good afternoon. It's Gord Sarkissian calling along for video number 6, module number 5. Today's September the 28th, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on students learning from instructors. So how to keep them engaged. A number of things I read about in the book, and also a number of things that I currently do, and I just wanted to share those with you today. I think one of the most important things to understand from my perspective is that students like to learn from instructors they like. And that doesn't mean you break the rules or bend over backwards to do things. It means that you need to get to know them. You need to engage and connect with the students in order for them to like you, to feel safe and comfortable, and to trust you. One of the philosophies I bring to the table all the time, there have been people in my life that says I'm not smart enough to do this. And my philosophy is you're not smart enough to do this yet, but we'll get you there. And that's going to be a team effort that we do through working together on all of this. When I start each class, I do it with a big hello to at least 15 students. I single them out, say hello, ask them specific questions about how their week has been and what were the highlights, and just questions that engage them, that bring them to a conversational level with me in front of the whole class. And I think that's very productive. We spend probably the first few minutes past that going through our weekly quiz. The weekly quiz is a tool I use to really help me understand the students better and to get them to engage and become part of the community. As you know, there's varying levels of English comprehension and English speaking. So anywhere from a 2 or a 3 to a 9 or a 10 in terms of levels. And so it's very important for me to give everybody a chance to practice that and to have some fun as we go through that practice. So in our quizzes, there are usually 25 true and false questions, 25 multiple choice questions, and 10 questions that are fill in the blanks. So I have each student do at least 2 questions. So I'll have them do student do question 1, and then they may not come back into the program again until question 31, but they read the question aloud and they provide the answer. And then if there's an opportunity for discussion, we have discussion, not always me being the facilitator. I have other students do the facilitation along the way as well. Helps them to see that they have the talent and the skill to do that, and it helps them to practice those English words again. There is never a time when we make fun of their English. It's always helping them to enunciate the words and to feel comfortable and safe in sharing how they speak with the rest of the class. Lots of opportunities for victories inside of that. A lot of complex words that are in there that they haven't seen before. I encourage them when I hand out the homework to make sure they go through and practice it, not just reading it and answering the questions, but practicing aloud at home so that they can hear themselves say the words and practice them until they get the pronunciation correct. It's reasonably easy for each student to answer a question. I try to make it random, and I make sure I mark down who's asked a question and who hasn't, so nobody gets left out. I'm very conscious of the students that have a lot of trouble with their English, so I try to pick the proper questions for them so that they can maintain their self-esteem. That just connects the group even better. I think if I spend twice as much time asking questions as I do giving answers, the students will engage. They'll come closer together, and really connection is the key to the learning. The more connected we are, the more they actually learn. I spend a lot of time engaging the students in the breakout rooms, and to put them in breakout rooms. Generally, in the beginning, I do it without assigning them to a breakout room. I do it on a random basis, so they can get to know more people in the class. And then as we go along the way, I try to make sure if I use larger breakout rooms, I try to make sure I have a leader in each room to lead the group in case it gets in trouble. And inevitably, it can. We're usually dealing with people that are just post-teenage years, so they still have some teenage habits that are natural no matter what culture you're from. And so these people have the ability and the motivation to bring the students back in to stay focused. Obviously, I visit each breakout room every time there's a breakout so that I may only spend 4 or 5 seconds or 10 seconds or a minute in the room, but I make it my presence felt, and I'm in there to support the students to feel better about what they're doing. So those are a couple of the tools I use. The quizzes I think are extremely valuable in connecting the students. The breakout rooms are great, and the introductions at the beginning of the class, laying out what we're going to be talking about, but also greeting the students in a way that treats them like people rather than students. Hope that's helpful. Thank you very much for listening.